Welcome back to B for Crypto. In today's video, we're going to find out, is Bitcoin about to explode? Because we're going to look at one major indicator that is telling us at the moment that we're going to see a massive explosion in the coming days. So guys, are we going to see this breakout towards the upside or towards the downside? We're going to find out all of that in today's video. And we're not only going to look at Bitcoin, we're also going to look at the DXY and also Ethereum. Because guys, in the last few months, we were going sideways and we were staying within this box. So are we finally going to break out? Because we saw this break off this trend line. So are we going to see this break and this potential relief rally all the way to the levels of 25,000 US dollars? Or was this just a major fake out and that we're going to see that we're going to break these levels towards the downside? We're going to find out all of that in today's video. So guys, if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe. And now let's directly start on the daily chart for Bitcoin. So guys, the last 2 months were quite boring for Bitcoin because we were staying within this range, but finally we saw this breakout now. But guys, is it a breakout or are we just seeing another fake out? First, let's go on the DXY to find out what the dollar currency index is doing at the moment. On the DXY, you can see that I have this drawing up from the beginning of this month. And guys, it perfectly worked out. We had this lower high for the DXY and now we saw this major fake out towards the upside. And now we broke this parabolic trend line towards the downside. So guys, are we at the moment retesting this level and are we going to see this breakout even lower? Let's go on the 4-hour chart to really find out what the DXY is doing at the moment. And at the moment, you can see that we are still underneath the 13 EMA, which is exactly here. So this means if we're going to see a rejection and the break of this trend line, I could expect that our first price target would be all the way here at the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. And if we're going to break this, we could reach a level of 110 for the DXY. And this would be quite bullish for Bitcoin because at the moment we can see that Bitcoin is trying to break out from these levels. So guys, let's go on the 4-hour chart to find out what are the levels that we need to break. And at the moment you can see that we perfectly bounced off from the 13 EMA and also we saw a perfect retest from this trend line. So is this our confirmed breakout towards the upside? We will find out because guys, first of all, we have to break our major resistance that is all the way up here from the levels of 19,660 all the way to the levels of 19,335. So actually we could say all the way to the levels of 20,000 US dollars. And let's just draw a resistance box from these levels. And then you can see guys that exactly here we have our major resistance that we have to break. And let's get rid of this box. And now we can see that this pump has to come above this line and back into this resistance box until we finally can break out from these levels and reach a price target of 20,400 US dollars, where we could expect the next resistance area. But guys, let's go on the 15-minute chart to find out what the price movement of Bitcoin is doing at the moment. And let me just remove all these drawings. And then you guys can see we perfectly bounced off from this trend line, and that is quite bullish for Bitcoin, guys, that we held this trend line and that this breakout was confirmed exactly here. So guys, we're over the 13 EMA. Let's draw some trend lines to find out which pattern we are forming at the moment. And therefore we're going to take the high of this pump and drag it all the way down to this point where we saw some resistance just now. And then we're also going to draw a trend line from this breakout point towards this low that we have formed. And then we can see this would be kind of a symmetrical triangle, and a symmetrical triangle is a neutral pattern. It can break out towards the upside and towards the downside. So first of all, let's look at the price target if we're going to break this symmetrical triangle towards the upside, because guys, at the moment we are in a bullish move for Bitcoin. Clearly we are forming higher lows exactly here and also here. So at the moment we are in this bullish stance for Bitcoin. So I could expect that we're going to see a retracement all the way to these levels where we also have the support and resistance from this box exactly at the levels of 19,300 US dollars. And maybe then we're going to break out from the symmetrical triangle towards the upside and reach a level of 19,900 US dollars. And guys, on the daily chart, you can see that this price target would be exactly in our resistance box. So it would be perfect for Bitcoin that we will consolidate in these areas and then see a breakout towards the upside and break the 20,000 US dollar level, with the first price target of 20,900 US dollars. So guys, if we're really going to see this breakout towards the upside, we could expect a major pump for Bitcoin. And guys, now we're going to look at the indicator that is telling us that we're gearing up for a massive explosion. And therefore we're going to turn on the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart. And as you guys can see that the Bollinger Bands are squeezing really tightly here. So this is the indication that we're gearing up for a massive explosion, because you can see that these Bollinger Bands are really tightening up. So guys, let's go back in history to find out what is going to happen if we see a major squeeze with the Bollinger Bands. And guys, you can see that exactly here we also had a small squeeze of the Bollinger Bands tightening up really good. And then we saw this breakdown. But guys, we're also going to look at the scenario where we had a massive move towards the upside. This was in July 2020, where we saw that the Bollinger Bands were really tightening, and then we saw this explosion towards the upside. And guys, we saw a move towards the upside from the squeeze of this Bollinger Band of 35%. So guys, it's really clear that we're going to see a massive move because the Bollinger Bands are really tightening at the moment. So guys, we could expect a move towards the upside or towards the downside. But I really do believe at the moment we're having this bullish indication for Bitcoin. Firstly, we are breaking this trend towards the upside. And also we are seeing that Bitcoin is holding quite good, despite all the negative market situations. But guys, we always have to be prepared for the bullish and the bearish scenario. So guys, it could also be that we're going to break down towards the downside and break this support box. And then we're going to reach our price target of 13,000 US dollars. If we're going to see this bearish explosion from this tightening of the Bollinger Bands, because guys, not only we could see this bullish explosion, but also this bearish explosion. But guys, let's stay bullish, and I think that we're going to see a move towards the upside and that we're going to see a relief rally at least to the levels of 20,000 US dollars, and maybe even we're going to see this relief pump all the way to the levels of 22,000 US dollars, or even come back to the 200 moving average on the daily chart, which is roundabout at the levels of 25,000 US dollars. Because guys, if we zoom out, we can see that it's been really a long time since we have touched the 200 moving average, and the last time was on the 29th of March 2022. So guys, we've been in this major downtrend for quite a while. So I could expect that we're going to get this major relief pump all the way to the levels of 25,000 US dollars, and maybe then we're going to see a small correction until the price of Bitcoin will eventually break these levels towards the upside. So guys, if you want to invest in cryptocurrencies, go down in the video description below and sign up with my Bitkit link to receive a major deposit bonus. And guys, you can buy crypto on the spot market, and you can also trade on the leverage market. So guys, make use of this free money. And now let's go over to Ethereum and find out what is Ethereum doing at the moment. So guys, over on Ethereum, we can see that we are still holding the support, which is exactly at the levels of 1,272, because we can see we have a lot of liquidity in these areas that comes all the way from these areas where we had a lot of resistance, which now turned into support. So guys, are we going to see this breakout from the symmetrical triangle, this bigger symmetrical triangle? For that, first we have to reach this trend line and see a confirmed breakout with a retest of this trend line, and then we could overcome this resistance, which is round about the levels of 1,500 US dollars, until we could reach the 200 moving average on the daily chart for Ethereum, which is round about at the levels of 1,700 US dollars, which is also a major resistance exactly here. But guys, let's look at this bullish scenario if we're going to break out from this bigger symmetrical triangle, and if we're going to get some hopium into the markets. Because guys, then we could reach a level of 2,600 US dollar for Ethereum, and that would be the most bullish case for Ethereum, because this would bring us all the way up to these levels where we had just major dump towards the downside. So guys, at the moment we have some hopium that maybe we have reached the bottom, but we'll see what this pump of Bitcoin and Ethereum will bring within the next few days. Because guys, it's very clear that the Bollinger Bands is telling us that we're gearing up for a massive explosion. So guys, let's go back to Bitcoin and let's find out on the 15-minute chart what Bitcoin is doing at the moment. So guys, you can see that Bitcoin is trying to hold the 13 EMA, but I expect that we're going to break this level and come once again down to the levels of 19,300 US dollars until we're going to see a bounce, and then we're going to break this trend line towards the upside. And I really do believe that we're going to come back into the areas of 19,700 US dollars where we got this major rejection. So guys, if you always want to stay up to date, go down in the video description below, smash up the like button and subscribe. By completing this simple task, you really support this channel. And make sure to be for crypto. We see each other in the next video.